These are the parts I'm going to be using today to do this job. Front brake rotors and front pads. These are the tools I'm going to be using today to do this job. 1/2" impact, 3/8 cordless ratchet, 19mm socket, 14mm socket, 19mm wrench, 14mm wrench, 10mm wrench, 2 different screwdrivers, rubber mallet, caliper piston compressor, hood prop, anti-seize, ceramic grease, a bottle of water with a hole on the top, brake clean, and my brake flusher. Okay, first remove this plug. Loosen up the bleeder screw while the caliper is still mounted on the car. So remove this caliper. There's 2 bolts, one here and one here. Remove the pads. Remove the caliper mount. There's 2 bolts, one here and one here. Remove the rotor. So I'm going to be squeezing my piston in using my caliper piston compressor. Open up the bleeder screw. Let the dirty fluid come out as you're compressing the piston. And lock it up. Okay, so I'm going to grease up my caliper mount, pulling out these pins and lubricating them. Putting some grease right in here. Greasing up my pins. So greasing up my hardware. So I'm going to be reusing the old hardware. This one looks still good. If you can reuse the old hardware, it fits better. There's new one that comes with the kit. A lot of times it doesn't fit good and wants to fall out. So if you can use your old one, use it. So I'm going to be putting on my pads into my mount before we put it on the car. So we're going to mount this on the car. Cleaning up my rotor with some brake clean. Get off all the grease. Putting some ceramic grease on my hub. Installing my rotor. Putting one wheel nut on so the rotor doesn't wobble on the hub. Installing my caliper mount with the pads. Putting some grease in the back of this pad. Greasing up my caliper. Putting on these pins. Putting on my caliper. And bolting them up. Now we're going to bleed the brakes. So I hooked up my brake flusher to the master cylinder. Now we're going to bleed the system. Opening up my bleeder screw. Let all the dirty fluid come out. When the thing gets clear, then you lock them up. So the fluid is coming out nice and clean, so I'm going to lock up the bleeder screw. So I'm going to be shooting this bleeder screw down with water because brake fluid is water soluble. So I'm going to dry up. Dry up the bleeder screw. Now we're going to pressurize the system, check for leaks. So I'm going to start up the engine. Pump your brake pedal up and down. No more than halfway until you feel pressure. That feels good. So once you feel pressure, with my hood prop, one side against the brake pedal, one side against the seat, I'm going to pressurize it for about 15-20 seconds and then check for leaks. Checking my bleeder screw, looks really dry. Put the rubber cap on and you're good to go. So that's how you replace front brake pads and rotors. Don't forget to subscribe, give me a thumbs up, and I see you in the next video. Aloha.